So let me explain to you how the Lifey player works. So the Lifey player was written in JavaScript, essentially, from my understanding. I paid my friend money to develop it for me, Christopher Bradshaw, great guy. What it does is it uses a YouTube API. So when you click on a certain button, it then skips to that part of the video in the YouTube video. Or if you have a Lifey player with multiple videos, it jumps to a new video. So you can set the time code, you could set the video ID, you can title the button. The process we use to create Lifeys is we have people come in, they sit down with their outline of 20 to 40 stories they want to share, and then they hold up a green paper and they say, now I'm going to talk about this story. And then they put down the paper, and then they take, a few minutes or however long it takes, and they share that story or talk about that topic. When they're done, they take the red paper, and they hold up the red paper and say, I just shared this story. And they say what the title is of the story, their bullet point. And then they hold up the green paper again and say, now I'm going to share this story. And they just go through bullet point by bullet point, kind of self-directed. I'm not in there typically with them while they're recording their Lifeys. I get the camera and audio and lighting and stuff all set up, make sure it's working well. And then I close the door, let them work on their Lifey kind of independently. And that's to save us time so we can offer it as a free service for more people. And then when people are done, we mark an in right after the red paper or the green paper right at the beginning of a story, and we mark an out right before the end of the story or right after the end of the story, right before the red paper is lifted up. Then we drag and drop that clip down into a timeline, and we do that with all the stories, and in between each story we put a title screen where it has the title of the story, like living in, growing up in Oregon, breaking my arm, playing basketball in high school, whatever story. Then after we have it all edited, we'll, do any tweaks to the video or audio that are necessary to make it look and sound good. And then we'll start exporting it. If it's an hour long 4K Lifey, then it probably takes us about an hour. Not us, but the computer takes about an hour to process the video, to write the video file. And most of our videos we've been recording in 4K. But if someone's video is more than 4 hours long, we might not be able to upload it in 4K. We might have to export it in 1080p, which is still high def. It's just not crazy high def. And that is because YouTube only allows you to upload files that are maximum size of like 128 gigabytes, which is really big. But if you have like a 5 or 6 hour or 7 hour Lifey, that's 4K. It'll actually be bigger than that probably. Anyway, so the process after it's getting exported, then you go through and you write the time codes where each title screen is. So, moving to Michigan, say that starts at 3 minutes and 23 seconds into the video. So you'll write that down on the outline. And that will be converted into seconds because the way that the Lifey player code was written, it interprets it via seconds. It doesn't interpret it in minutes and seconds. You have to pass in, instead of 2 minutes, you'd have to say 120 seconds. In the player. So there's this PHP file that has some like HTML and has this JSON script, and you just have to pass in, you have to, edit in the title, the time code, and then the duration of the clip for each story. And then you have to also label the tabs and call them whatever you want them to be called. Tell what video ID, what YouTube video it's referencing. Title the Lifey to be the name of the individual. Anyway, so that's kind of the process. And then we upload this PHP file to our server, our website server, that hosts that code. and has the reference JavaScript file and so forth. And then we publish it, embed it on our website using an iframe, just like you would embed a YouTube video. And then others can embed it on their website just by copying and pasting the iframe source code into a little text widget on their website. Yeah, so that's kind of how technically we do Lifey, the process we use. Using that process is a lot more efficient than sitting in on the interview and then going through it manually. That could be very time consuming. If it's a 3-hour video, it could take like 10 hours to edit it. But using that process where it's self-directed and they say what they're going to share, they say what they shared, it makes it easy for us to edit faster so that we could do a 2 or 3 hour video autobiography. Instead of it taking 10 hours, it might only take 1 or 2 hours of labor. So it's like 5 times more efficient, I feel like. Anyway, so that's how the Lifey player works, more or less.